Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is tutorial series where we are going to build a budget app project from FreeCodeCamp. First, user story. You should have a category class that accepts a name as the argument. To pass a name as a parameter, you need to define a init method. Def init that takes self and name, self name equals name. A second user story. The category class should have an instance attribute ledger that is a list and contains a list of transactions. Inside init method, write self ledger equals an empty list. The category class should have several methods. First of them is deposit method. The deposit method should accept an amount and optional description. If no description is given, it should default to an empty string. The method should append an object to the ledger list in following form: amount, description. Deposit method will take self, amount, and description that is defined as an empty string by default. In the body of this method, we append amount and description to the ledger list. We finally can run the first tests. As you see, test 1 and 2 are passed. Withdrawal method is also accepting amount and description as an empty string by default. The method should store in ledger the amount passed in as a negative number and should return true if the withdrawal succeeds and false otherwise. Let's write def withdrawal that accept self, amount, and description and put pass in the body for now. According to the logic of withdrawal function, we cannot withdraw more money than we have, so we have to count how much money we have in total. Let's implement the logic of getBalance method. GetBalance method will accept self. In the body of the method, we should define variable total that is equals 0. To add all the money to our total, we need to write a for loop. We have a ledger list where each item of this list is an object. We need to iterate through these objects. For, let's say, item in self ledger, total plus each item amount and return total. Now, when we know our balance, we can write the withdrawal method. If amount is less or equal our balance, we need to append in the ledger amount with negative value and description with description. In the body of the if statement, we need to return true, outside return false. We successfully passed tests from 4 to 6 and test 14. Now we will implement checkFounds method. The method that accepts amount and returns false if that exceeds the balance or true otherwise. So it is basically the first string of our withdrawal method. Let's copy paste it. Don't forget to put return statement. The next step, we are updating our withdrawal method if self checkFounds and pass amount. Let's run our tests again to be sure that we didn't break anything. a transfer method that accepts an amount in another category instance. Withdraw the amount with description transfer to destination. Deposits is into the other category with description transfer from, where destination and source should be replaced by the name of destination and source categories. And then it returns true, otherwise false. Let's write the method transfer that accepts self, amount, and category. So basically the first step, we are withdrawing money from our ledger. The third parameter that we are passing in our transfer method, it will be an instance of our category class. So we use the method deposit on this instance and put description transfer from self name. If self check founds amount, self withdraw amount, and second parameter is a string transfer to and category name, and second string of this if statement category deposit amount transfer from self name, return true, otherwise false. As you can see, we pass all the tests for a transfer method. The user story 4 is heartbreaking method. I'm pretty sure some people quit study Python in the source. Most likely this method is the reason why you are watching this video. To figure it out how does it work, you need to read more about format specifiers in Python. Put format specifiers in Python in the search. After that, you will get a lot of sources that you can read and get familiar with. You can see the Python documentation. I personally prefer W3 School because it is easier to read and there are examples that you can play with. In this example, you can see how to display the number with 2 decimals after point. If you click on a format function, you can see definitions and usage. We will use caret, center align the result with available space, left and right alignments. The user story 4, we need to create a string method. This method should print information about our object. The first is a title. It's supposed to display a title line of 30 characters with the category name center in between with asterisk characters. Each ledger entity is supposed to be up to 24 characters. Descriptions supposed to be aligned on the left and the amount on the right. Amount, it is a number. 2 decimal places, max 7 characters. And the final line is total with balance, where balance should be replaced by category total. As a first step, let's write def string that accepting self as a parameter. Then we define title variable. This variable is a f string that is contained self name. This name is supposed to be aligned in the middle with asterisks. So we write semicolon, asterisk, caret to align it in the middle, 30. Add \n to start printing items in next line. Next step, create items variable. It will be an empty string. Then we need to iterate through our items that has description and amount. Write the for loop for item in self ledger. In the body of for loop, define description variable that is an item with a key description that's supposed to be up to 24 characters. And define amount variable. Amount variable will consist the f string, item amount key, semicolon, and we need to cut it up to 2 decimals after point. So point to f. Now we need to concatenate our description and amount to items variable. Items plus equal f string description semicolon align on the left side, not more than 23 symbols. Amount semicolon align on the right side, not more than 7 symbols, and break the line. the total variable. It is an F string, total semicolon self get balance. Not more than 2 decimals after point. Return concatenated string, title plus items plus total. Looks like we passed all the tests. Let's check this out. Yes, everything is correct. Let's get forward. Now the most funniest part, create send chart. Basically what we need to do here is calculate how much was spent in each category, draw the percentage bar, and write the category names vertically aligned. At the first step, we will create a title variable, percentage spent by category, breaking line character. Then we need to calculate how much we spent. Here we will create the spent variable as an empty list. Imagine the picture. We have several categories: food, clothing, and auto. Each category has some spendings, like -10, -30, I don't know, -60. We need to convert them to positive numbers and sum. Each category item has description and amount. We need to extract amount and convert them from minus to plus. For cut in categories, total will be equal 0. Then we create another for loop for item in category ledger. If item taken by amount key less than 0, total plus equal minus item amount by key. Spent, append total. Outside of the for loops, create total spent variable. We will use built-in function sum that will sum all the items of the spent list. Now we can count our spends in percentages. For these purposes, let's create a new empty list percentages. For each item in the spent list, we will calculate percentage by appending in percentages list a result of calculation S, that is our item, divided by total spent and multiplying by 100. To make our function a little bit shorter, I will use the list comprehension syntaxes. First of all, I will comment everything what we just wrote. Let's copy our percentages variable and assign it to the list. Inside the list, we will write our comprehension. S divided by total spent multiplying by 100. It is the part that usually included in the body of the for loop. Then for loop itself, for S in spent. List comprehension works exactly the same like regular for loop, but it looks a little bit shorter. Because in scale of our chart all the numbers coming from 0 to 100, we need to run down all our numbers to nearest 10. Using list comprehension syntaxes, assign percentage to the list. We will use int function that is turning the number to the integer without a floating dot, and the for division that it rounds result down to the nearest whole number. P it is variable that we define for our percentage list. What we just did here. For example, we have a number 10.15. We need to convert this number to the nearest 10. First, we are using for division. 10.15 divided by 10 equals 1. Then we are multiplying it by 10 and we are getting 10 as a result. The same manipulation we will have with all the numbers in our chart. For 15.89 nearest 10, it's 10. If we would say have 50.42 in our chart, As a result of 4 division, we will get 5, and then multiplying by 10, we will get 50. After we get everything ready, let's start building our chart. The chart will be a string, so let's define chart variable and assign it to the title. Our chart starts now from the string percentage spent by category. To build percentage row from 100 to 0, we will use for loop with range function. Range function accepting 3 parameters: start, stop, and step. Start from 100, stop when it will be -1, and step -10. It means we will go down from 100 to 0, like 100, 90, 80, and etc. Inside the for loop, define line variable that is equals an f string, right aligned with 3 spaces. Pipeline and space. After we build percentage scale on the left side of the chart, we need to draw O's on the right side. Create one more for loop for p in percentage, line additional assignment operator O 2 spaces if p more or equal I, else 3 spaces. I'm not sure it was in the curriculum, but it is one of the way how we can write if-else statement. Basically, it means if p more or equal I, write O with 2 spaces, else 3 spaces. I O in 2 spaces because there is 2 spaces between O's in a chart, and 3 spaces when we don't have any O, we need our chart will be straight, so we just put empty space. After this, we are breaking line by putting n with backslash. Now we need to draw the horizontal line. Horizontal line with dashes will start after our scale on the left side will be ended. Use additional assignment operator to add line to the chart. Then add 4 spaces standing for 3 digits of our chart and pipeline, then dashes multiplying by their amount. As you remember, each O has 3 spaces, O and 2 spaces in between O's. It means 3 dashes plus 1 dash in the end of the line and breaking the line symbol. Now we need to figure out how much space will take our categories names. Let's define max length variable that will represent the longest length of the category name. Into the max function we can pass any list and it will automatically choose the biggest number from the list numbers. In the max function we will put another for loop that will build the list of categories names length. Now we can build letters themselves. Each row of letters starts with the 5 empty spaces. Then we have letter, 2 spaces, letter, 2 spaces, letter. To create these lines, we need to use for loop. Inside the for loop, we will define line variable that always starts with 5 empty spaces. For cut in categories, if I less than length of cut name, add to the line category name letter with 2 empty spaces that we have between letters. If there is no letters available, add 3 empty spaces. After building each line, we will add them to the chart string. The last if statement will add breaking line character to each line. The function should return the chart. We finally finish. Let's check this out. Wonderful, we passed all the tests. Honestly, it took a while for me to build this crazy function and record this course. All the source code will be available in the link in description below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, it was useful for you. Please like, subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.